fellow YouTube, welcome back to our family. We're back with another video. We're going to discuss how I get hatchling ball pythons feeding straight out the egg. Something that I did stress about in a big way when in my earlier seasons. I've developed techniques and methods now, and I've learnt a lot from other breeders as well, sharing their information. And it's not something to stress about really, as you've just got to have a bit of patience, a bit of perseverance, and listen to the messages that the animals are giving you, and eventually, you know, these animals will switch on and start to feed. Before we get down to it, guys, could you do us a favour? If you can like this video, get down in the comment section, let me know about any ideas of future content, share on any social media, and if you haven't done already, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Get on over to our Instagram, the link in the bio there. There is links to our YouTube, MORPH Market, merch store, and our Facebook. Have a look at all that, check all that stuff out, guys. Watch the space, we've got exciting things coming over the coming seasons, that I promise you. Right guys, so the first things first, you always start with good quality rodents. Find a good supplier that you trust and that you like. There are plenty of good ones out there. Try to have more than one. Sometimes you can have trouble sourcing multis and things like that, so it's better to have more than one supplier. You can see the sort of like the first meal that I offer a snake will be this one. So that is a hopper mouse, a fuzzy mouse as others like to call it. I only ever use a pinky if I'm assist feeding, and that's the only time I use it. You'll struggle to get anything doing their first strike feed from the off when it hasn't got fur on it, or that's what I find anyway. So you know, you want the fur to be present. Once they've had 2 or 3 of these, I'll then move over to the rat pup. By that time, they're a little bit more eager to feed, and the fact that it's got fur is irrelevant. They're going to have it regardless. And then after it's had 3 rat pups, I'll then move it on to a small weaner, which is a big step up. So that's the order that I go in. That's assist feeding only, first 3 meals, second 3 meals, and then on these for the next sort of 2-3 months till they're up to about 250-300 grams. The next thing then, it needs to be a good temperature. So these have just come out of warm water and they're just at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That's good. That's a good enough heat signature for the rat to pick it up. It's not cooked, you know, it was only in warm water. You'll find if the water's too warm, they'll start to split open up the belly, and they've been thoroughly dried off. I think that's important. I sometimes think that the water masks the scent, so when you're trying to trigger them to feed, you want all of those senses to be engaged. So you want them to have the sight, it's the right size and everything like that. They need the smell, so that they'll have to have the fur on it. So the snake's using its Jacobson's organ to smell the prey, and then you're also engaging the heat sensing pits with the correct temperature as well. If you get all 3 of those right, then you've got a better chance of triggering the snake to feed. Next up then, I'm just going to offer this little one its first meal. I have offered it a meal before, but it hasn't taken. The second thing you'll notice is that I always feed a dirty tub. Whenever I feed, I always clean the following day, so that on the day that I am feeding, the snake is in its most comfortable environment. It's difficult to replicate this when you're filming, because obviously I've got lights on the snake, and it's It does look interested though. I'm seeing tongue flicks, and it does look like it's at least interested. Now that first meal's crucial, and you'll normally find that once you get your first strike feed, they're away then, and you haven't really got to do much after that. All you got to do is put food in front of them. So I think what's bothering this snake is the fact that I'm hanging over it and the lights are on it. Maybe if I just leave it in with it and come back in a couple of hours, and hopefully it's gone. So we refer to these as drop feeds. Once it's had sort of 2, maybe 3 drop feeds, you'll start to see it strike feeding normally. That's typically what happens. I would prefer a strike feed straight out the gate, but some hatchlings take a little bit longer, and they take that little bit extra care, and that's fine. So that first scale, guys, that we tried to feed, so I just opened her tub, or I just had a quick look in her tub and noticed that she was just starting to drop feed. So could tell she was interested at the time, could tell she was ready for it. She just needed that bit of security in order to start feeding. So there you go. Don't ignore the drop feed option. You know, quite often it does work. Just check the next morning and make sure that the rodent's still gone, that it has gone, because if it hasn't, you'll soon know about it. It'll start to smell. There you go, guys. It's always good when your snakes get feeding, whether they're striking or dropping. You know, it doesn't matter as long as they're getting food into them. I normally find after a couple of drop feeds anyway, they'll start to strike feed like normal. So I'm gonna close their tub and leave her to it. This snake then, guys, it's the same age as the one we've just seen, but you know, I'm a little bit more concerned because this one's a little bit skinnier. The last one, after it absorbed all its yolk, it had a great big swell in its belly. It's still looking a little bit chunky. This one I've offered food on multiple occasions, it's just not had it. I've changed the substrate from paper towel to Repti-Chip, as you can see, and I've added a larger water dish. I've just offered this snake a meal. It's still more concerned about me being there, and because there's substrate in there, I don't want to drop feed, and because it is a little bit slimmer, we're going to see if we can give this snake a kickstart with an assist feed. So I'm going to show you how I do that next. Right then, guys, so onto the assist feed. So first thing that you need to do is just very gently pinch the snake round the head. Now its body's gonna wriggle about a little bit, it's not gonna like it, but you know, it's just the nature of the beast. We want this snake to do well, so we need to get some food in it. So the rodent, wet. Always do it wet when you're trying to assist feed, and it acts as that like extra little bit of lubricant on top of its saliva. You know, pinkies up this size haven't really got anything sharp on them, but gently push the mouse up against the snake's mouth. Sometimes you get them open the mouth really easy, and just because we're on camera, this one's definitely, I can tell, is going to be a pain. Anyway, so we've gently pushed the mouth open there, and then always look to see if you can see a reaction from the snake and give it a bit of space. Because sometimes they do something which I call a lip feed, where you put the rodent in its mouth and it bites onto it and then tries to coil it. I've seen that quite a few times. You know, this snake's just getting rid of it. So next time I'm going to push it in a little bit further back into its mouth. I wasn't sure if this snake was going to start eating it automatically then, without me having to do anything, so I just let it do its thing. But once I'd sort of released pressure, it just started trying to get it out. So again, we're doing the same thing again. We're gently applying pressure to the snake's mouth, Yeah, that's it. And you're just trying to get the shoulders of the snake past the shoulders of the rodent, sorry, past the snake's throat, and then hopefully he should start to eat on his own now. It's coiled around my arm. Normally I'd be getting him back in his tub, but I don't want to stress this one out by now trying to get the snake off my arm. So I'm just going to sit here very still and then see what he does.
One eternity later.
I've noticed at this stage when you start to see the snake eating it and start working its way down, you know, that's it, and that's it there. I've just seen it start to sort of work its teeth down the rodent. The smaller the better with assist feeding, because the bigger it is, the easier it is for them to eject. When it's small like that, it's very difficult for them to get it out. And I believe it's this motion, them going through this and trying to eat it, which actually gets them, which triggers them to want to feed. So that meal is hardly anything for a snake this size. But just the snake going through the motions like this, of chowing it down, that makes them switch on. So that's this snake's first meal. It is gradually chowing it down, but it is also very conscious of the fact that I'm here. But there it goes, look, that's down the hatch. There you go, guys, that's an assist feed. It's definitely into the snake's neck now. I'm gonna put him back into his tub, and then he can sort of do the rest and get it into his stomach stress free. Another one then, male phantom. Oh, missed. There you go. Just to show you know that will take rat pups as well, and once they do get on the rat pups, you really start to see the growth rate improve. Give this girl a go. Again, dirty tub. And there she goes. Lovely. That's just what we want to see. Now that's a good meal for her. That's the first time her trying a meal that size. It probably does look like it's a little bit big, but she will manage to get that down, no problem. It's just proof's in the pudding. The method does work. It just takes a little time to get these hatchlings feeding. Oh, defensive. There you go. Lovely. Beautiful snake that is. Just for a het as well. The colours really do pop on the het albinos. There's the super entry there taking a meal. One thing I will mention with these dividers, you've got to be careful when feeding if they sort of take on the edge like some of mine like to do. You know, you need to make sure the other one's occupied with the meal straight away, because you know you don't want them, two snakes trying to eat the same meal. That would be definitely be bad. But it's just one thing to be wary of with the dividers. This snake's not missed a meal yet, so I can't see it. There you go, lovely. There it is, guys. Bit of an information sharer there. I hope you all got something from that. Another important thing to remember is something that I didn't mention, is like always keep learning. You know, I'm by no means an expert, not by a long stretch of the imagination. Every time I offer a snake a meal, I try to learn something about that animal, even if I'm just making mental notes. Some of the ones that might be striking but it's defensive, you know, I'm questioning, does that animal need a hide? Do I need to be drop feeding it, leaving the rodent there for a few hours? And then with me not being there, that snake feels more comfortable to feed. More often than not, that is the case. You know, these animals have evolved to hunt the prey, and they're not accustomed to having a big, huge heat signature hanging over them while they eat. So just please bear that in mind, guys. But once a snake does get feeding and that feeding response is dialed in, it's not going to care if you're there. These are just the initial meals. Don't worry about it getting into bad habits and, oh, this snake's just a drop feeder. I don't find that becomes the case at all. I usually find a couple of drop feeds, and then after that the metabolism's really going after a few drop feeds, and they want to start feeding so badly that feeding response is there, the instinct's there, and bang, they have it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope to see you all here next week. Down in the comment section, guys, any more stuff that you want to see on this channel, let us know. DMs on Instagram or Facebook, anything like that. I wanted to see you guys reaching out, and I'll do my best to get round to you all. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you on the next one.